Hello, good evening. Thanks for joining us on Joy News on Multi TV. And I am Derek Walalom Johnson.
And I am Kemini Nyamani Amano.
We take a look at the headlines before the details in just a jiffy. The fire service struggled for several hours to put out fire that engulfed 4 buildings at the industrial area in Accra. Cause of fire is unknown.
President John Mahama's vice presidential nominee Kofi Wampa will appear before Parliament's Appointments Committee to be vetted early next week. Also, we bring mixed reactions from parliamentarians.
The Secretary of State Hillary Clinton to attend Mill's funeral.
Also to come, Council of State pledged support to President Mahama.
In business, First Deputy Governor of Bank of Ghana, Dr. Kofi Wampa, is to act as governor until a substantive one is appointed.
And in sports, 2012 MTN FA Cup winner walks away with 25,000 Ghana cedis. And our first story, vetting of the nominee for the vacant vice presidential position has been scheduled for early next week. The decision was taken by the Appointments Committee of Parliament soon after the Speaker referred the President's letter of nomination to the committee.
The letter dated August 1, 2012 was presented to the Speaker of the House, Right Honorable Justice Joyce Bamford Addo, from the Office of the President, containing the nomination of Mr. Kwesi Bekoe as the Vice President of Ghana. The Speaker, after informing the House of the letter, referred it to the Appointment Committee as Constitution demands. Considering the situation at hand, the committee immediately had an emergency meeting and came up with this resolution.
We have agreed that we shorten the process of advertising for the public to respond. So we have decided that we're giving ourselves from today up to the morning of Monday. So Monday, 9 o'clock will be when the Appointment Committee will be meeting to consider the nominee for the Vice President's position. We have decided to have a public hearing on Monday. What again we intend to do, if it's possible, is that we sit very early in the morning at 9 o'clock to begin the consideration of the nominee and possibly finish by 12 noon. If Parliament would be sitting for any long time during that day, then we are looking at the possibility of having our report ready and having Parliament to consider same day. That is, if by then Parliament would be sitting.
Information reaching Joy News indicates the nominee is likely to be approved by the committee. Emmanuel Ante, Joy News, Accra.
Now, who is Kwesi Bekoe Wampa? Just 24 hours ago, he was the governor of the Bank of Ghana, but now he is the vice president-elect of Ghana, awaiting confirmation from Parliament to be ushered into office. But the critical question is, what does he bring to the table, and will his appointment help shape the campaign of the NDC in the run-up to the December polls if he is chosen as Mahama's running mate? Joy News' Francisca De Souza has been finding out.
The choice of Kwesi Wampa as the vice presidential nominee perhaps might have surprised some NDC stalwarts and the media fraternity. The quiet and unassuming governor of the Bank of Ghana is seen by many to have the intellectual muscle to transform the country's economy. But does he, especially having come under media criticism for the instability of the city? It is now less than 5 months to the December elections, and the big question is, what will a Mahama Wampa ticket bring on board Ghana's development? What major political change will the current administration implement before the elections? Will there be a change in cabinet, or President Mahama will maintain the status quo and allow the current ministers under the Mills administration to remain in office?
The reason why changes in government and changes in appointments now can be problematic is that it could be easily perceived as trying to undo some of the actions of the previous president. Of course, he's the president right now. He should do what is good for him, but he's also a candidate, and he needs to pay close attention to how people will feel when they are moved around, or when people they support moved around.
Political and governance think tank Dr. Michael Kwesa-White views the appointment of the ex-while governor of the Bank of Ghana as a strategic move by government.
The NDC's strategy is let's get a replacement from the region in a manner that comes quite close to the president, sort of. And so what they are doing is picking somebody not only from the fact that, not only for the fact that the person is coming from the central region, but also for the fact that the person has some technical expertise in the area of economic policy and economic management. And of course, also the possibility of the person being able to appeal to some of the constituencies that the president appeals for.
He, however, indicated his appointment was not likely to bring any strategic change in the country's economy, especially considering the time frame of his appointment.
I do not expect to see any new policy changes or new policy direction. But to the extent that he was the governor of Bank of Ghana, we will probably not expect much changes in direction of maybe economic policy or fiscal policy or monetary policy. As long as the city stabilizes and as long as investor confidence is somehow kept within the economy, I believe that everybody will be bidding their time until after the elections.
Business analyst Frederick Avonyo also shared the same sentiment with Dr. Kwesa-White.
On the international scene, really, if you watch closely, we still have very good investor interest. Anytime that bonds are floated, it's all taken up, it's oversubscribed. Incidentally, this is happening at the time that, of course, inflation is still single digit, our reserves are still good, but our CD, which has a kind of direct impact on the cost of living, largely because we are huge importers, it's not doing well. So it comes at a time that it's not too positive for him as a governor. So I think, to a very large extent, the reaction will not be that significant.
For him, the appointment of Kwesi Amissah-Arthur was perhaps to fill a void in the constitutional arrangement of government. Governance think tank, the Center for Democratic Development CDD, has adopted a wait-and-see tactics.
Economic change, what will be the basis for that change? She was already governor of Bank of Ghana, probably made inputs into economic policy issues, certainly made inputs into public finance and all of that. So in terms of major economic change, our attitude is wait and see, but I kind of doubt if that's going to happen because it's not a different person altogether.
Parliament is expected to start the vetting of Kwesi Amissah-Arthur early next week.
Meanwhile, some members of Parliament have expressed their views on the President's choice of Amissah-Arthur as his vice.
Choice of Amissah-Arthur as Vice President still remains a major topic for discussion across media platforms, radio, online, TV and newspapers. Has the President made the right choice? That's the question I put to some members of Parliament.
He's all right as a Vice President for our country. That's what I would say. I don't know of any reason why he cannot be described as a fit and proper person to be Vice President of our country.
He has presided over the free fall of the city. He has been in the helm of affairs where the economy has tethered and tattered, and there are issues of his management style of the economy. So these are some of the questions nagging that what is new?
I think it's a very good choice because the foundation of all political action is a good economy. And this is a man who is managing our monetary aspect of our economy. We need somebody with such an insight as a vice president who will provide guidance and policy direction at that very high level.
Considering that he has got a lot of experience in government and also as a technocrat, governor of the Bank of Ghana, he should be able to perform. The vice president's job really depends on what the president assigns him. And I'm sure His Excellency John Mahama, having worked with Mr. Arthur for a long time, should know what he's capable of doing and should also probably understand his weaknesses.
If you look at the rate of the depreciation of the cedi, one would obviously say that it is not the best for his record. The fact that as we speak now, the cedi is being sold at close to 2.2, 2.5. I mean, that is not an enviable record Ghanaians will be proud of. And the fall of the cedi, as you all know, has much more implications on the economy.
For those of us in the NDC and who have been in the system for all these years, know what he's worth about. And for that matter, having him as the second in command for our leadership in government, definitely we could not have made a better choice.
Can the choice of Mr. Arthur as vice president and subsequently running mate to President Mahama affect the electoral fortunes of leading opposition New Patriotic Party? How effective will his candidature be if confirmed at the September 1 NDC Congress?
As to the decision of the NDC to make him their running mate is the decision of their party. I don't really think it's going to make much difference to the ticket.
The arguments, indeed, have just begun.
Okay, so those were the views from the lawmakers. Now, let's see what the ordinary Ghanaian has been thinking. Now, Joy News has been finding out what the public thinks about President John Dramani Mahama's nomination of Central Bank Governor Kwesi Arthur as Vice President.
I know him at first, so I knew him not too long ago. Well, I know he's the Governor of Bank of Ghana.
Really, I don't have much idea of him. I just heard he recently be appointed and will take over the role as the vice president, but I don't have much knowledge about him.
Bank of Ghana boss. Maybe only yesterday when I heard the news and I have to find out who he is, even though I've heard the name, but I don't know the exact person. And if I see him around, I don't know if he is this man also.
Since NDC I've been Ibaso, 2009, and they are appointed as a governor of Bank of Ghana.
He's the vice president of Ghana.
He's the vice president of Ghana.
Away from the VIP nomination, but staying with Parliament, where the August House of Lawmakers today has approved and adopted the report of the Joint Committee on Finance and Food, Agriculture and Cocoa Affairs on the financing agreement between the Government of Ghana and the International Development Association.
The decision to adopt the $20 million to finance the Regional Trade Facilitation Project Phase 2 did not come without controversies. Member of Parliament for Otafo, Dr. Antonio Seyakutu, in seconding the motion, called for relaying of the paper, indicating the initial paper presented to the committee recorded some discrepancies, which was later corrected with the assistance of the Minister of Finance and Economic Planning, Dr. Kwabena Dufo.
It is not the committee that identified the mistake. It is the Minister of Finance who gave us a document telling us where the mistakes were. Let's make progress and let the Deputy Minister do the proper. We did not identify the mistake. The Minister of Finance, in trying to correct the problem that his deputy had put on the House floor, came and we accepted the document, but it is not before this House. So that's all I'm asking.
This did not go down well with the committee chairman, James Aveji Kluche. He argued the committee was set up to check these discrepancies.
We need your direction here. If a document is laid before this House, refer to the committee. A committee in its deliberation identifies some areas that need correction, and those corrections were made and incorporated into the report. Do we need to lay those additional corrections on the floor of the House? That needs to be clarified.
This resulted in heated arguments between the majority and the minority. The Speaker then stepped in and the situation was resolved. Sitting resumes 2nd August 2012 at 10 a.m.
Meanwhile, United States Secretary of State Hillary Clinton would be in Ghana next week for the funeral of late President John Evans Atta Mills. The exact date for her arrival is currently unknown, but indications from the United States are that she would be in Ghana before the burial. Mrs. Clinton has arrived in Senegal's capital, Dakar, as she begins a tour of some African countries. Security issues are expected to dominate discussions on the trip.
Her 11-day tour will also take her to South Sudan, Uganda, Kenya, Malawi, South Africa, and of course Ghana. The tour will also include a private meeting with South Africa's anti-apartheid leader, Nelson Mandela. Her last stop will be here in the country, where she will attend the August 10 state funeral of late President John Atta Mills, who died last Tuesday, July 24.
To other stories, President John Dramani Mahama has challenged personnel of the Ghana Police Service to execute their work with more professionalism during the 2012 general elections to push Ghana's democratic credentials and notch ahead. He was speaking at the 44th Cadet Officers Course passing out ceremony here in Accra.
Passing out ceremony was held at the Police College at Tesano, Accra, for 196 senior officers who underwent 3 months cadet officers training. 10 of the senior officers who passed out included police personnel from Gambia and Liberia. At the colorful event, President John Dramani Mahama commended the police for its illustrious work and challenged them to execute their work with more professionalism during the election.
The nation has not forgotten your immense contribution towards the success of the last elections. We would most certainly be expecting a double dose of that professionalism to once again push Ghana a step forward on the continent in her quest for democratic growth and stabilization. The nation will rely on you for a peaceful general election in December 2012.
He assured them that the police housing project will definitely come to pass. He also pledged the support of government in ensuring peaceful elections come 2012. Public Relations Officer ASP Cephas Arthur, in an interview with Joy News, said the graduation ceremony of the 196 senior officers is crucial to the upcoming elections.
We are going to have the strength of the police service increased, and especially the strength of senior police officers. The UN ratio of police to civilian population is 1 to 500. And the Ghana Police Service for some time now has been hovering around 1,000, 1 to 1,000 to 1 to 1,002. And so to get more officers, more hands joining is a good news. It means that we are going to be more effective, we are going to be more efficient in the provision of security.
Gloria Asadonko of the Public Relations Office emerged the overall best cadet officer.
Welcome back to the rest of the news. Now, 2 persons escaped death narrowly after the car they were traveling in collided with another vehicle on the Usul-Labadi Road near the La General Hospital. The 2 who appeared shaken were rushed to the La General Hospital for medical attention.
When Joy News visited the La General Hospital, medical staff declined to comment on the state of the victims. However, our news team caught a glimpse of the lady who looked disoriented. Joy News also learned the 2 sustained minor injuries. Also, the 3 occupants of the trailer were unhurt. According to an occupant of the trailer, this white Toyota car with temporary number DV1757A was joining the Labadi Road from Dankwa Circle when it skidded off its lane, moved across the wide central reserve into the opposite lane, and collided with this trailer.
We on our way late coming when we saw him with overspeed from the circle side coming. So the time we realized, we climbed the ramp and came to our lane. The time we saw them, we stopped the car, we stopped our own. So we stopped here and we were watching them how it is going to happen.
When Joy News got to the accident scene around 11:30 p.m., about an hour and a half after the incident happened, there was no police presence. We followed up at the Yosu police station, which is about a minute's drive from the accident scene, and an officer there told us off camera they did not get the information about the accident on time. The driver of the trailer, we later learned, had been taken to the Central Police Station in Accra to be tested for alcohol, pending further investigations.
On to another worrying story. The Ghana National Fire Service today has been battling raging fire for many hours at the North Industrial Area in Accra. Now, the powerful fire affected several properties, running to thousands of cedis.
When Joy News visited the General Hospital, medical staff declined to comment on the state of the victims. However, our news team caught a glimpse of the lady who looked.
Now to other parts of the country, the missing regalia belonging to the B state that was stolen during communal violence between residents of Hohoe and the Zongo community have still not been returned. It is more than a month now after communal tensions erupted in the Hohoe community, and the two factions, the B state and the leaders of the Zongo community, are still locked up in discussions on the way forward. The missing regalia, which includes several ancestral artifacts dating back over 100 years, represent the symbol of authority of the B state.
On Saturday, June 10, communal tensions erupted in Hohoe between indigents and the Zongo community, following the exhumation of the body of a deceased imam in the community. The violence led to the displacement of some 9,000 persons, mainly residents of the Zongo community, and the destruction of several properties, running to several thousands of Ghana cedis. Government imposed a dusk to dawn curfew in the township to abate the situation. Even though tensions have calmed in the community, the regalia representing the soul and power of authority of the Gbi state have still not returned to the Gbi Traditional Council. A cash incentive of 1,000 Ghana cedis and later reviewed to 4,000 Ghana cedis was offered to anyone who will return the stolen regalia, but still to no avail. Volta Regional Minister Henry Ford Kamel, in an interview, said discussions between the Gbi Traditional Council and the Zongo community were still ongoing to resolve the matter.
As far as I'm aware, the regalia has not been found. The violence has abated. Security, peace has stabilized. People are now assured of their safety. People are assured of the safety of their property and their lives. And so life is going on as normal, even though the curfew arrangements is still there, because we still have to be a bit cautious in changing the status quo. But what is happening now is that we are still engaging the major stakeholders in trying to develop a sustainable blueprint for lasting peace.
Government, he indicated, has set up a fact-finding committee to bring a lasting solution to the matter.
Government is preparing to inaugurate a committee that will interrogate the circumstances that led to these incidents, and also interrogate issues that have arisen as a result of this instance. For example, concerns about unprofessional conduct, or concerns about human rights violations. All this will need to be investigated and recommendations made to government.
Meanwhile, life has returned to normalcy in Hohoe as thousands of displaced Muslims have returned home.
Now back to our earlier story. The Ghana National Fire Service today has been battling raging fire for many hours at the North Industrial Area here in Accra. The powerful fire affected several properties, running into thousands of Ghana cedis.
Warehouses belonging to JK Industries, Top Industries, and an unnamed alcohol company were gutted by the fire. The fire also extended to a nearby guest house, burning part of its restaurant. Windows of a Total filling station close to the warehouses were also shattered. Over 13 fire tenders and more than 90 firemen were at the scene to put out the fire. Joy News also learned over 2,000 liters of water was used to bring the fire under control. According to the Deputy Public Relations Officer of the Ghana National Fire Service, Prince Billy Anaglate, it was difficult fighting the fire due to the content of the warehouses.
Looking at the warehouse and looking at the chemicals that are in it, there are times that some of these chemicals could, simultaneously and then, cause fire. But I'm not saying that that was the cause of this fire. And again, we don't have the hydrant within the premises. You can see the tenders running around, going to, replenish water and come back. So if we were to have a hydrant within, I think that the situation would not have even be as it is now.
Owners of the warehouses who spoke to Joy News off camera said the fire started about 10:47 a.m. from one of the warehouses, which soon spread to the surrounding buildings. Officials of the Ghana National Fire Service say an investigation will be launched into the cause and source of the fire. While the fire service was struggling to put out the blaze, some people were busily picking the pockets of unsuspecting onlookers who had gathered to catch a glimpse of the situation. Police officials told Joy News it was staff controlling the crowd, but were able to keep both people and property secured.
No, it has been difficult controlling the crowd. You see the crowd. Yeah, they were in the hundreds. You see, the whole place was filled with human beings, journalists, curious human beings who want to see what is happening there. But then we are able to control them.
Apart from a few minor injuries, there were no major casualties. 2 reporters caught up in a stampede during a nearby explosion were rushed to the hospital.
That was a disturbing situation. Now let's try and see if we can smile. Now, some 125 people who qualified to undergo free cleft palate surgery at the Ridge Hospital would soon be smiling again, one after the other. According to the coordinator of the Operation Smile, Kia Cavani, the operation, which started yesterday at the Ridge Hospital, will end on Friday, August 3. About 25 people were successfully operated on Tuesday.
Surgery for cleft patients has started at the Ridge Hospital in Accra. Some patients, both old and young, are now looking better because notches and openings on their lips and noses which affected their facial appearance have been operated on. Some parents expressed their heartfelt appreciation for their children's surgery. Other parents were more joyful for the free surgery and the immediate improvement they see in their children. Rose Ade Mensah, a mother whose child has just undergone the surgery, expressed her gratitude to the organizers of Operation Smile because she couldn't have afforded to pay for the surgery.
Into 10 million, no insurance, the insurance be cover 3 million, na metua 7 million. 7 million me yejuma, into na me ni biankasa. Bani agimom. Me da omase, any station na me te wo hoso no. Me do omase pa.
As most patients were waiting to recuperate from their pain before being discharged, others who had recovered were ready and packing to vacate the hospital premises. Even though most of them declined to talk on camera, it was obvious they were happy to go home. Most patients, especially children who sounded nasal before the operation, will also undergo speech therapy and check-up after surgery to help them talk better. Hopefully, all 125 patients will undergo the surgery by Friday and will have a genuine reason to smile.
Our time now for some business. In Business Live tonight, the first Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Kofi Wampa, is now acting as governor until a substantive one is appointed. Now, his new role follows the nomination of the governor of the Central Bank, Kwesi Arthur, as vice president of the country. Dr. Henry Kofi Wampa assumed office as the first deputy governor in April 2009. Prior to his appointment, he was the director of the Research and Statistics Department of the West African Monetary Institute. Dr. Wampa was the head of the Research Department of Bank of Ghana for 5 years, from February 1996 to February 2001. He began his career at the Bank of Ghana in September 1986 as a deputy manager and served in various capacities to be. Now on to how the fire outbreak at the North Industrial Area affected business activities tonight. We were told that business was brought to a halt as roads leading to the place were all blocked to enable firefighters put out the fire. Now, business owners were on guard to make sure their wares are safe and not consumed by the fire.
The fire, which started around 10:30 a.m., drew so many people in the scene, disrupting business activities in the area. The North Industrial Area, which is a known business hub, was grounded to a halt as fire razed down 3 factories and a guest house in the area. Shop owners had to pack their wares out of the shops to keep them from burning in case the fire caught up with them.
Me kwano boyini ka che me say me nya boche no surprise be owie a wo yi me dia am na customer bi to ade ana me se me ba behwe no enti me free inside am bedua na me to na me hu seja na eba enti me na me to na de ye nya ama me almost 1000 Ghana cedis and me san kai enti che se ne wo shop ma me hwe de wa se de Ghana si ba no ana me chentem na manfo bo am na me twen be gu ha sen me nton hwe bibie ni wa maton me nton bibia na me ba ye me nton hwe oh anope ye ho no ma na enwu ya ne sem sta ba kun tie mu ejebo esio enu anse edi mika ya sesa ye no ma edi ebegu ayo o we ne de ejuma no enkoye kura se na eja ne si ba ye no enkoye na mo mudu mu nja no 564 no omo no ma beto ne ma kakra amo mediti ayo.
Yeah, because of the fire there's no business at all. It has spoiled the whole day for us. So we don't have any business since from morning. Yes, we were trying to get them off, but later we see fire service have come, so we stopped.
We have had no customers walk in since the fire started, and I don't think we're going to have any customers coming in here till maybe tomorrow or after tomorrow, because there's going to be a lot of, work going on. So that's how it's affected us. No. I'm not leaving till I'm sure there's no spark going to fly onto my building. Yes. I'm going to be here till I'm 100% sure that they have put the whole fire under control. Well, my customers will come. Some of them even want to come, but when they got to the junction, they couldn't approach. So they called me and told, well, it's not me. The police says, don't come.
This is the story of business owners whose wares were saved. But for the owners of the Bamboo Restaurant and Guest House, JK, Top Industries, and the unknown alcoholic distributing company affected by the fire, business is going to be halted for a long while. Manager of the Bamboo and owner of JK were seen in a state of distress and thinking of their loss, trying to figure out how to get back into business. They did not want to comment on the disaster. The Total Filling Station, which shares a wall with the warehouse, was fairly affected by the fire. Workers had packed out goods at the station's supermarket by the time Joy News got to the scene. A large crowd was drawn to the area, some of them spending practically the whole day at the scene, and this leaves one to wonder what was going on at their workplaces.
Now on to some good news for those who have fallen victim to money loss one way or the other. While mobile telecom operator MTN's quest to build a cashless economy through the use of mobile phones has resulted in the initiation of its premier Mobile Money Month. The month-long celebration is themed MTN Mobile Money, creating a cashless economy with your mobile phone.
The program brought together MTN employees, representatives from banks, ambassadors of the mobile money service, as well as other stakeholders to assess their progress and discuss new initiatives. Chief Executive Officer of MTN, Michael Ikpoki, said, since MTN mobile money service was launched in July 2009, 2 million people have been registered who are enjoying the convenience of transacting business without cash. According to him, launching the Mobile Money Month will enable more people know about the importance of the service, which, unlike other similar products, aims at enriching the lives of subscribers. He said he was confident that at the end of August, more customers would have hooked onto the service, having been educated about the many benefits of the service.
Since we launched the service in 2009, we have registered about 2 million subscribers who are enjoying the convenience of transacting business without cash. I think the launch of the Mobile Money Month is to enable more people know about the importance of the service. Like I said, we are confident that at the end of this month of August, more customers would have hooked onto the service. More customers would have been educated about the many benefits that mobile money offers. And certainly the transactions on the platform will see a significant improvement.
In 2010, the mobile money introduced the payment of ECG and DSTV bills, with the payment of postpaid bills added to the portfolio of services in March 2011. In addition to My Life Insurance introduced in May 2011. This year, the General Payment Service was introduced in May to enable customers pay for the various services, including online shopping, fee payment, and airline ticket payment. Sales and Distribution Executive Eben Asante said, though the organization had come far in terms of achieving goals for the Money Month launch, there was more to be done. The month-long programs include various activities beneficial to MTN customers. Interesting promotions and freebies will also be introduced within the month of August for MTN employees and mobile money stakeholders.
Hello there, I am Rashidat Kadiri and I have the latest in the world of sports. This year's MTN FA Cup finals will host mining cities, Ash Gold and New Edubiase, but the title sponsors, MTN, say they are poised to win back football fans to the various match venues. Fans' attendance to matches lately have not been impressive, and communications giants say subsequent editions of the competition will be directed at improving the situation. After 9 months of intense competition, the 2012 MTN FA Cup enters its final stage this Sunday, August 5, when New Edubiase take on Obuasi-based Ash Gold at the Accra Sports Stadium. The competition, after a 10-year absence from the Ghana football calendar, was revived last year after organizers sealed a 3-year sponsorship deal with communication giants MTN. The competition has lived up to the billing, on one hand, considering the determination and level of competition exhibited by participating clubs. On the other hand, low patronage at games venues by fans has taken some shine away from the FA Cup. Chief Marketing Officer of MTN, Rahul Dey, tells Joy Sports in an exclusive interview his outfit will set out better in next year's edition with the aim of winning back fans into the various games venues.
On the second part, which is actual attendance at the stadiums, there I would like to still put it at a little lower level because there's still a little bit of gap where we have to work, and I implore people to go to the stadiums and give the fans the backing they need, physically and mentally present there at the stadium. The fans should be excited. They should be rewarded for being at the stadium, not only by looking at a great match, but also experiencing the latest products from MTN. So this is what our aim is.
New Edibiasi and Ash Gold both finished in the top 4 of the 2012-2013 local Premier League season and look set for a spectacular showdown on Sunday.
Well, quick reflexes by Bernard, getting there first.
For the final showdown this Sunday at the Accra Sports Stadium, where Ash Gold will take on New Edibiasi in the final of the MTN 2012 trophy. And our comrades were there at the media center of the Accra Sports Stadium for the press conference ahead of the game.
This year's FA Cup final will host mining cities Ashanti Gold and Bekwai's New Edibiasi. The pre-match press conference was held today at the media center of the Accra Sports Stadium. The dramatic press conference saw supporters of both teams show high level of confidence as they cheered their teams throughout the event. Both teams were confident of carrying the day and lifting the trophy. For New Edibiasi, it will be an historic victory if they carry the day. And for Ash Gold, it will be their second FA Cup, with their head coach winning one as a captain and the other as a coach. The match, which was postponed to the 5th of this month, was due to the loss of former president, and according to the organizers, it will be played in honor of the late president.
We all know that we are playing this game in honor of our father, the departed president, Professor Jonathan Mills. And as the custom demands, on Sunday, we'll all be observing the 1 minute silence in his honor. We also entreat everybody who will be at the Accra Sports Stadium to wear either a red or black armband to signify the fact that we are still mourning our dead father. Now, the winner of Sunday's game will take home 25,000 Ghana cedis as the prize money, 25 medals, and of course, we will also have the chance of representing Ghana at next year's Confederations Cup.
I would like to use this opportunity to thank MTN for giving us New Edibiasi, as young club as we are, to come this far. We beat Kotoko, we beat Asufok, we beat Ash Gold before. Who else? So we are telling our fans that we are here to stay, and we promise them that we are winning this cup to go to Africa. Nobody should underrate us.
Whatever noise that you make, whatever you do, you are coming to meet a barrier in the elephant.
So the place to be this Sunday at 3 p.m. will be the Accra Sports Stadium for the final MTN FA Cup competition between New Edibiasi and Ash Gold. And before I take leave of you, let's see what happened today in the history of sports.
August 1, and on this day in 1995, Formula One ace Michael Schumacher married his sweetheart Carina Besch in his hometown of Köppen, Germany. It didn't slow him down as he won his second World Championship with Benetton the same year. August 1 was also the day that Michael Johnson shattered the 200 metres world record at the Atlanta Olympics. And on this day in 2001, Minnesota Vikings player Corey Stringer died of complications from heat stroke suffered during a training camp. Stringer had collapsed during conditioning drills and was taken to hospital, but never regained consciousness. He had earlier refused to leave the field after becoming ill. The Vikings' first-round pick in 1995, Stringer was a star offensive tackle who had made his first Pro Bowl appearance the previous season.